So here is your starting grid. 18 competitors. We have got one that has not crossed the start-finish line. So Bruce Chirino will start from pole position. Elouan Poissonnet, the points leader, starts on the outside of the front row. And it's Isaac El Houthi, Lucas van der Heerden, Milan de Ruyt, and Louis Letowers that round out the top 6. Trying to get an eyeball on the number. That is going to be Pellet de Vries, I'm afraid, that cart is not firing up. And well, the cart has got to be cleared. The driver will not take any participation. And Dave Ritson and Fabien Uchamp will push the cart back. Maybe the mechanic might be able to do something in the repair area, but they've got to do something quickly to get that cart fired up. Maxime Smet, Gilles de Vele, Moussab Bera Akbaba is going to round out 9th ahead of André Grelo in the 903 for the Deza Racing crew on the Paralin chassis. Daily Bruce Eckelines, Luis de Reda round out row number 6. Ravel Hardouin and Martin Chekin Gomis. Pellet de Vries has just been pushed off from the grid with Diego Oliveira, Antunes Duarte, Sid Morkins and Nathan Schreurs due to start 18th. Now Lucas van der Heerden and Pellet de Vries, Pellet de Vries transponder I know hasn't crossed the line, but is there an issue with Lucas van der Heerden? If not, then that cart is, if that's running fine, then we're good to go. 11 minutes plus an additional lap for Mini, Rookie and Mini. 14 minutes plus an additional lap for the other competitors. So the drivers now steeled, ready for battle, one final time. Will Elouan Poissonnet remain championship leader after this race? Into the tram lines we go. Revs rise for the final time for Mini Ricky. On est parti, let's go. Good start by the inside of the front 2 rows. Chirino and El Houthi make a great start and take an early advantage. Poissonnet drops to what is 4th at the moment, as Milan de Ruyt looks to be up into 5th place. So Milan de Ruyt looks to be in 4th in the WJS racing cart, to go side by side just around about 13th, 14th position, and about where Hardouin and Oliveira are at the moment. But it is the 975 of the youngster from the Netherlands at the front end of the field, Bruce Chirino for the Henzer Racing Team. And Isaac El Houthi and Elouan Poissonnet are giving chase. So into turn 12 as they pass Marshall post number 7. So into turn 15 and now into the right-hander at turn 16. Chirino leads by nearly 2/10 after the opening lap. And then it's a further 2/10 back from El Houthi in 2nd to Milan de Ruyt, who's now moved up from 5th and is into 2nd position. But El Houthi looking for the race lead. Up the inside goes the CRG from Automax Racing. But Chirino for Henzer Racing coming back at him. He's going to have to slot into the wheel tracks going through turn number 4 and then into 5. Chirino's got to just pick his moment and wait for the opportunity. Elouan Poissonnet now down to 4th. Louis Letowers up 1 place to 5th. Gilles de Vele rounds out the top 6. Maxime Smet, Ravel Hardouin, Moussa Bera Akbaba and Martin Chekin Gomis round out your top 10 so far. Chekin Gomis has already made up 4 spots. And Pellet de Vries did get going in the end. So things are starting to tighten up at the front end of the field. The top 4 last time round were covered by 9.5 tenths. Top 4 covered this time by just under 9/10 of a second. El Houthi, who's got clear air on that CRG for Automax Racing, is absolutely flying. But look, Milan de Ruyt up the inside, through on Bruce Chirino. That's second place. Chirino again, just not having an answer, so to speak, in that way of trying to keep the pace. But it is a longer game. It's a more strategic game of chess for this particular occasion. And the reason why I say that is you've just got to be very, very mindful of your opposition. And so now Bruce Chirino has got this to decide, when do I pick my moment to fight back? Sometimes that's easier said than done, because these drivers are going to have to react on the fly completely. It is not a case of just thinking, I'm going to heck with it, I'm just going to go and give it my all. Sometimes giving your all does not necessarily mean going flat out. However, we have got a 5-second time penalty for a driver. I think it might be Grelo or Morkins. It's a 5-second time penalty. De Ruyt is closing in on El Houthi once again for that lead. Chirino third. Poissonnet, Lataros running at the top 5. Driver with the most positions gained, 9.40 in 8th. Hardouin up from 13th, now 8th. Lucas van der Heerden's had an absolute shocker in this one. Stumbled all the way down to 16th and had started on the outside of row number 2. So it just goes to show that sometimes, yes, it may work, yes, it may not work. You just never know until you try, and then sometimes it just goes completely wrong. And that's exactly what's happened to Lucas van der Heerde for Racing Team Corbeil on the CRG, representing Belgium. And only on the benefit he qualified one place ahead of Milan de Ruyt was on row 2 as a direct consequence. Another penalty coming through, so another 5-second time penalty. That looks to be 9.56. Louis Lataras is up around the outside. Well, tries to keep Isaac El Houthi, but Bruce Chirino has gotten through for the race lead. Milan de Ruyt, do not try and throw it around the outside of turn 5, please. Gonna Poissonnet. And Louis Lataras is now effectively going to be through that 5-second time penalty. Not going to have any say in the matter. Might do on the road, but not in terms of going for a top 3 or going for a victory in this particular occasion. So, at the sharper end of the field, well, Bruce Chirino and Edouard Poissonnet, Isaac El Houthi are getting away, but meantime, Edouard Poissonnet finds himself, I think, back behind Milan de Ruyt, which looks to be the case. That is a WJS Racing livery. And all the towers for DFK is also is trying to But now de Ruyt, who's been passed once again by, well, he was passed by Poissonnet once again. It has meant that fight for P3 is going to really take up more of their time than trying to chase down the 2 in front, who are now embroiled in their own battle. Bruce Chirino, new fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 4.880, as we've got 3 3/4 minutes still remaining on the timer. Diego Oliveira in the 911. Not to be confused with the Porsche, of course. Up 2 places from 16th, now runs 14th, as we still have that battle between Poissonnet, De Ruyt, the Towers. But obviously, from what I can, I've not had any confirmation of who exactly has got penalties. So sometimes, with the back of the digi flag, as El Houthi goes up the inside of Bruce Chirino. So 80 points for a race win. Bruce Chirino has really brought himself into this fight for the title. So, in many respects, this year we're going to see the following: new mini rookie champion, new mini champion, new junior champion, new senior champion. So, when you think about it, a lot of change happening. Noah Grenier up to juniors. Denver Boz up to mini. Juice Mulder racing elsewhere. Sam Balota, driver coach. Quite funny how a year of competition can change things, and you reset going to the winter period and then, oh yeah, what are we going to do this year? I don't know yet. And sometimes you might leave it to the last moment, but leaving it to the last moment, there was Bruce Chirino up the inside of Isaac El Houthi from Ultimax Racing, and he gets through. So a nice, clean bit of racing there. André Grelo is out of the race as of lap number 7, I'm afraid. So Grelo, who started on the outside of row number 5, is now no longer going to take any further participation in this race, as we have just over 1.5 minutes plus an additional lap. Meantime, El Houthi still trying to do what he can as Poissonnet gets through on De Ruyt for P3 at turn 12. So nice little move from the Euro karting driver in the 916. So I'd say we're on the bubble, so I would think we're going to have this and 2 more laps remaining, because they crossed the line with about 1 minute and 10 to go on the timer. De Ruyt trying to go up the inside once more on Poissonnet through at turn 3, and unfortunately that has not happened. Still a little bit more of this race to go, but the time is fast counting down. And look, sunshine. Proper sunshine for the first, I think pretty much for the first time this afternoon we've had it. And that is a glorious sight. A bit of warmth radiating onto the tarmac and helping with a bit more residual warmth, but there's only 5 more seconds to go. 2 laps remaining. Chirino now 0.4 of a second away, ahead of Isaac El Houthi. As we see some of the media team behind the scenes at EMS Series Benelux, including FX, who him and his team, they've been doing some of the great content that you see on our social media channels at EME Belgium on Facebook and at EME Series Benelux on Instagram. So please, if you get the chance, give it a like on Facebook, give it a follow on Instagram to keep up with a lot of the content that we keep on providing every time we go to a racetrack. But timer has expired here in the mini rookie final. Bruce Chirino has started from pole position. He's had to fight for this victory though. Isaac El Houthi on home soil, the Automax CRG driver, is going to finish a close second, but we're going to start the final lap out of turn number 16 for the penultimate time. Last lap for mini rookie this weekend underway, and Chirino has a gap of 4.5 of a second over El Houthi. Poissonnet is getting closer and closer. He was about 1/10 quicker, or just over 1/10 quicker than the driver in second position. Milan de Ruyt and Louis Letaro's rounding out your top 5 on the road. Of course, all results that have been called by myself up here in the commentary box are provisional, pending any sporting checks and technical decisions that need to be made post-session. But Bruce Chirino at the minute is keeping Isaac El Houti at bay, but El Houti is closing in the dying stages of this race through the chicane at turns 9 and 10, now through into 10, into turn 10, turn 11 and 12. Chirino takes a look over the right-hand shoulder. What could be the last, well, which is going to be the last time through out of turn number 15 into turn 16. Bruce Chirino from pole position wins the mini rookie final here at Ostricourt by 0.3 of a second, ahead of Isaac El Houti. Eloan Poissonnet, I think, will keep his championship lead intact. How many points he might have at the front of it, we don't know until we find out very shortly. Milan de Ruyt, Louis Letaurs, Maxime Smet, Martin Cekin-Gomis, Raphaël Hardouin, Moussa Bera Akbaba rounds out the top 9 with Gilles de Vela rounding out the top 10. Lucas van der Heerde, Daily Bruce Erkelens, Diego Oliveira, Luis de Rida round out the top 14. We are still waiting for a couple of drivers to cross the line. They're just coming through the final couple of corners as we speak. So Sib Morkens, Nathan Schreurs, and well, got going but could not go any higher than 17th. Belle de Vries with Andrea Grelo rounding out the completed order, but retired on lap 7, with Arthur Jassogne not taking part due to the 933 being excluded from the meeting. But Chirino wins the final here at round 2 in France.